Adolf Hitler was born April 20th, 1889 in Austria. He was in office from 1934 to April 30th, 1945, and he was the leader of the Nazi Party.
When Hitler was in prison, he wrote a book called Mein Kampf, The Struggle.
This book set forth his beliefs and goals for Germany. Hitler asserted that the Germans, who were incorrectly called Aryans, were a master race. He declared that non-Aryan races, such as Jews, Slavs, and Gypsies, were inferior. He called the Versailles Treaty an outrage and vowed to regain German lands. Hitler also declared that Germany was overcrowded and needed to be strong, or living space. He promised to get space in conquering Eastern Europe and Russia. After leaving prison in 1924, Hitler revived the Nazi Party. Most Germans ignored him and his angry message until the Great Depression ended. The nation's brief post-war recovery, when American loans stopped and Germany's economy collapsed.
The Nazis had become the largest political party by 1932. Conservative leaders mistakenly believed that they can control Hitler and use him for their purposes. In January 1933, they advised President Paul von Hindenburg to name Hitler Chancellor.
Hitler's nickname was the Fuhrer, which was the nickname that he gave himself, saying that he was the almighty power in Germany. He was a part of the Nazi Party that he had remade, not really remade, but helped come back to power, and then he came to power legally upon voting because he had the best ideas to boost the economy in Germany. He began by taking over Poland, and he used the war type that he used was the Blitzkrieg War, and that's where you go in and kill everything really fast and then just take everything over. And it's completely unexpected, and nobody knew how to defend it. It was a huge advancement in the military field. Alright, so there's a few inventions that Hitler had made. There was the Volkswagen, the Autobahn, and the armored vehicle. The Volkswagen was a car that he invented that was supposed to be fuel efficient and able to be driven around easily by everybody in Germany, all the people and stuff there. And then something that really helped boost their economy in that time was the Autobahn, where they built this huge roadway that just built up with highways and highways and highways. That took them a long time to finish, but in the end it was a good result. And then also he created the armored vehicle, which nowadays is known as a tank. He just pretty much put guns onto this vehicle and put metal around it to use it as protection, and that was used as a big part of his Blitzkrieg warfare. So Hitler believed in a superior race, so if you were not like a purebred German, then you were going to be sent to what he called concentration camps. That's where he sent a lot of the Jews, minorities, and everybody else that he didn't think belonged in that superior race. And what they did at those concentration camps is they would send them in huge loads of trains and trucks, and then once they got there, they'd separate them. If you were young enough and strong enough, you'd go to be into physical labor and help them do other stuff. And then if you were like a woman with a child, they'd send you off to the infirmary and they'd burn you. Or they would send you up into these firing squads, and what they'd do is they'd shoot you. They'd line you up in front of these trenches, and then they'd shoot you. And this was a
big part of Hitler's mass killing of the minorities, and that's how he became to start his superior race.
Prisoners in concentration camps had bad living conditions. They were treated very poorly and unfairly. They ate soup and bread daily. Each prisoner would consume 600 to 800 calories per day. Prisoners got more liquid than food. The SS gave them water, coffee, and soup, thus shrinking their stomachs but keeping them moving. In some concentration camps, people starved for days. Typically, prisoners had no more than 2 meals a day. The sleeping conditions were not any better.
Alright, so Germany was a part of the Battle of Britain, which was where the German Air Force, known as the Luftwaffe, it just bombed the crap out of England for a continuous of a few days. And another battle that they were a part of was when they went to take over Russia. They went way too deep into Russia in the middle of winter, and a lot of their soldiers died off to the cold, but Russia just outnumbered them because they had so many people. And then Germany's last offensive attack was the Battle of the Bulge. And that's where the Allied forces just lined up and they tried taking them down, and then Germany pushed through and made a big hole, but then they just filled back up and killed them all off again. And that was Germany's last offensive attack. And then soon later, Hitler ended up getting married to a woman, and the next day when he came into Germany, he ended up killing himself by shooting himself in the head, and then his wife killed herself with a poisonous drug called cyanide.